Hi there and welcome to another OIC Basics episode. In this video we take a look at the mapper action and specifically how we use the code window on the mapper to help us solve an issue that we had. We had a requirement to create a scheduled OIC integration that would get some exchange rate values from an external provider using an API and to transform those values into rows of data for a CSV input file, which would then be loaded into Oracle ERP Cloud using the Import and Calculate Daily Rates FDBI loader. Our integration would also be configured to allow the user to choose any base currency and one or more target currencies, so we needed, like always, to avoid hard coding. Let's take a look at the reply XML payload from the exchange rate API. Our mapping issue is around the data under the rates complex element. Notice that each record is a name-value pair. The name of the element being the target currency and the value being the actual rate calculated against the base currency, in this example being USD. We needed to be able to create a row of data in our target CSV file for each target currency. When we created our stage file action, we used a sample CSV file. This sample file contained header values and some data to help us create our target content elements, and to set columns in the target file that would be either mandatory or optional as required. We are now at the mapping action. As we are going to want to create a new row of data in our target CSV file for each target currency, we'll begin firstly by changing the view in the mapper to XLST. We'll then drag the rates repeating complex source element to the target FX repeating element to create a basic for each command in the XLST. For now, we'll continue to perform some basic mapping and transformations. Notice that for the target elements to currency and conversion rate, we're just going to set them with a blank value. The reason for doing this is to make our life easier when we get to the code window shortly. What I found in working with the mapper is to first do as much of the mapping using the standard drag drop and built-in functions as possible. Once you have the basic mappings completed, it's always worth taking a backup of the integration before you do anything else, just in case you make a mistake in the code window. Notice that I've hard-coded the conversion rate type to a value of corporate. In our production release of this integration, the value is held and read from an integration lookup instead. So that's our basic values mapped. Now let's deal with our issue in the code window. We're going to add a slash and asterisk to the end of the current for each statement, which means it will now process any element below the rates and create a new row for each. When each child element in the for each is being processed, we want to set the name of the target to currency to the current node name being processed. The function local name will do that for us. Similarly, the value of the current node being processed is what we want the value of conversion rate to be set to in the target. The function current will set the conversion rate to the value of the node being processed in the for each loop. We'll hit the validate button to check our syntax for any obvious mistakes, and then head to the test window to see if our code will work. To run a quick test, we can generate or paste some test data into the source input payload screen. Let's hit the execute button to see if it works. And it looks good. 4 rates in the source payload gives us 4 records in the target. In reality, the stage action will create 4 rows of data in the CSV file as we required. And the values look good too. The from currency is static as USD, but both the to currency and conversion rates are varied based on the source input. So that's pretty much it. In this video we looked at doing some mapping first using the basic designer, and then performed some further more complex changes to the XSLT using the code window. We then validated our mapper code before running the mapper test to check that we got the right result. We hope that you enjoyed this video and it will give you confidence to meet any XSLT challenges. Until next time, goodbye.